all the important things that we're going to look at today. We are going to look at the Earth and the solar system. The Earth and the solar system. We are going to look at the Earth and solar system. Now, the Earth and the solar system is a topic in Form 1, topic 2, and it is in paper 1, and therefore most of the questions will appear in paper 1. Let us go straight to the Earth and the solar system. Now, the following are things that at the end of this lesson, as a student, you're supposed to have grabbed. We are going to look at the definition of the term, the Earth and the solar system. Definition of the Earth and the solar system. We are also going to look at the origin, shape, and size. The origin. We are also going to look at the shape. We are also going to look at the size of the Earth. Another thing that we are also going to look at, we are going to look at one of the main important things in this, the Earth and the solar system, which is rotation, and also revolution. And finally, we are going to find out about the structure of the Earth, both the internal structure of the Earth and the external structure of the Earth. The structure of the Earth. So class, at the end of this topic, you are supposed to define the Earth and the solar system and tell us what the solar system entails. You are also supposed to describe the origin, shape, and size of the Earth and other celestial bodies. We are also going to look at rotation and revolution, and finally, the structure of the Earth. Let's start by defining the term solar system. Let's start by defining the term solar system, and we can say that a solar system refers to the composition of the sun, the 8 planets, and also other heavenly bodies. So solar system, it is a composition of the sun. It is a composition of the 8 planets. 8 planets, and also other heavenly bodies and other heavenly bodies. So basically, this is, in a nutshell, this is what exactly the solar system entails. It entails the sun, which is at the center, the 8 planets, and other heavenly bodies. So we are going to look at them in depth so that we can be able to understand each and every composition of the solar system. But before that, we want to know the origin of the solar system. We are going to know the origin of the solar system. Now, some geographers came with theories. And remember, theories, these are just set of ideas that try to explain a given event. Now, they came up with a couple of theories that try to explain the origin of the solar system. Now, we have 4 theories that explain the origin of the solar system. However, the syllabus puts more emphasis on two of them. So let's dive in to look at the theories explaining the origin of solar system. Theories explaining the origin of the solar system. We have said that a theory is just a set of ideas, a set of facts that try to explain how certain thing came into existence. And therefore, geographers came with 4 theories. They came with 4 theories that try to explain how the solar system came into existence. Now, there are 4 of them. There are 4 of them. Number 1 is the passing star theory. The passing star theory. The passing star theory. Now, what is this theory? How does it explain how the solar system came into existence? Now, according to this theory, according to the passing star theory, there existed a star. There existed a star with a greater gravitational pull than the sun. So we had a star, and this star had a star with greater gravitational pull than the sun. So there once existed a star, and this star had a greater gravitational pull than the sun. Now, this sun happened to pass close by the sun. It happened to pass by close the sun. So this is what happened. Remember, this passing star has a greater gravitational pull. So what happened? It happened to pull materials from the sun. So we have said that the star passed nearby the sun. So what happened? It pulled materials from the sun. The reason as to why it pulled materials from the sun, it is because this passing star has a greater gravitational pull. Now, whenever it happens to pass by the sun, so it happened to pull materials from the sun. And these materials were in gaseous states. They were in gaseous state. Now, after pulling these materials, the materials now in gaseous states could, now they splitted, they condensed now to form the 8 planets. So these materials could split. Once they split, they also could, after cooling, it happened to do what? And it condensed to form now what we call the planets. Condensed to form planets. It condensed to form planets. Now, we have a star with greater gravitational pull. Now, this star with greater gravitational pull passed nearby the sun. It happened to pull materials from the sun. Remember, these materials were in gaseous state. After the materials were pulled from the sun, it happened that these materials split and then cooled and then condensed to form the 8 planets that we know. Now, the star remained at the center. the star, now this passing star now remained at the center, and so the star remained at the center, remained at the center and put every planet into motion, So students, that is now the theory of the passing star theory. So in a nutshell, there existed a star. This star had a greater gravitational pull than the sun. This star passed in nearby. It came close to the sun and happened to pull materials from the sun. This material later on splitted, they cooled down, and later on condensed now to form the planets. The same star remained at the center, and it is the one that provided the energy to put all the planets into motion on their own orbit. And that is how the solar system came into existence according to the passing star theory. Now, this theory, however, has got some critiques. It is not explaining everything into details. And therefore, that leads us to weaknesses of this passing star theory. Let us look at the weaknesses of the passing star theory. Weaknesses of the passing star theory. Let us look at the weaknesses of the passing star theory. They have given us an explanation on how we had a star and everything up to the existence of the solar system. However, weakness number one of that passing star theory, it does not explain to us the existence of passing star. It does not explain to us the existence of this star. It just said there once existed a star. So number one, the weakness number one, it does not explain the origin of the star. It does not explain the origin of the star. It is just telling us that the star existed, but it does not explain the origin of the star. The weakness number two, now, we have been told it happened to pass by and pulled materials from the sun. Now, chances of another star. So chances of another star approaching another star is minimal. Remember, it is a passing star. And also, we all know that sun is also a star. There is no way where a star and another star can approach each other. So chances of another star approaching another star is very minimal. Another weakness of this theory is the materials that were pulled from the sun will disappear rather than condense. So the materials pulled from the sun would disappear rather than condense. The materials pulled from the sun would disappear rather than condense. So students, that is all about the weaknesses of the passing star theory. We go to the theory number 2. We go to the theory number 2. The theory number 2 is called the nebula cloud theory. The nebula cloud theory. Theory number 2, nebula cloud theory. Nebula cloud theory. Now, after the passing star theory, we have the nebula cloud theory. Now, the nebula cloud theory states that there once existed a cloud of dust particles and gases. There once existed a cloud of dust particles and gases. So together the dust particles and the gases, they form what we call a nebula. So there once existed a cloud of dust particles and gases. Now, the dust particles together with the gases, they are now called the nebula. This is a Greek or a Latin word to mean dust particles and gases. So there once existed a cloud of dust particles and gases called the nebula. Now this nebula was slowly rotating. So the nebula was rotating. Nebula was slowly rotating. The nebula was slowly rotating. Now, as time went by, the speed of rotation increased. Now, the speed of rotation increased. The speed of rotation increased, leading to formation of successive rings. So, as the speed of rotation increased, successive rings of gaseous materials were formed. So, these are rings of gaseous materials that were formed. It is as a result of the increase in the speed. Now, when the speed increased, now rings of gaseous materials were formed. Later on, these rings of gaseous materials condensed, and when they condensed, they form planets. So, successive rings condensed. They condensed to form planets. So it is as a result of the increase of the speed of rotation, whereby it led to the formation of the successive rings that are in gaseous state. They condensed, and after condensation, they formed what we call the planets. Now, the central gaseous material now is what now formed the sun. So the gaseous material at the center formed the sun. Now, when we're having the sun at the center, remember when we're having that sun at the center is the one that puts everything in its orbit. I'm talking about the sun has a gravitational pull. That gravitational pressure or force is the one that puts everything in its own orbit. So, student, that is the theory of the nebula cloud theory. That is the theory of the nebula cloud theory. Now, in our syllabus, it puts more emphasis onto these two theories. The theory number one, we have stated that it is the passing star theory. The theory number two, we have stated that it is the nebula cloud theory. However, we have other theories. Now, before talking about those other theories, we are also going to look at the weakness of the nebula cloud theory. Let's look at the weakness. Let's look at the weakness of the nebula cloud theory. So weaknesses of nebula cloud theory. Weakness of the nebula cloud theory. Now, again, just like the passing star theory, these geographers just stated that there was existence of the nebula. They did not explain to us how the nebula came into existence. So the nebula cloud theory has got one critique, and that weakness is it does not explain the origin of the nebula. It does not explain its origin. It just states that there was an existence of the cloud that is made up of dust particles and gaseous materials. Now these dust particles together with the gaseous materials, they form the nebula. So it does not give a clear explanation of the existence of the nebula cloud theory. So class, that marks the end of the theories that are explaining the origin of the solar system. However, we cannot fail to talk about the other theories. We will just mention them, and I hope my producer is projecting them so that my students who are watching at home could see. So the other theory is the collision theory. So we've talked of the passing star theory, the nebula cloud theory. Number 3 is the collision theory. Collision theory. And number 4, it is the supernova theory. Number 4 is the supernova theory. So class, those are the 4 theories that try to explain the origin of the solar system. Those are now the theories that try to explain the origin of the solar system. Now, let us look at the composition of the solar system. Let us look at the composition of the solar system. Let us look at the composition of the solar system, what it entails. So composition of the solar system. The composition of the solar system. Now, if you remember when we were starting the lesson, we started by giving the explanation, by giving the definition of the word the solar system. Now, from that definition, we were able to capture that the solar system comprises of the sun. Number 1, the sun. So we are going to start with the sun. Tulisema that it comprises of the sun, the 8 planets and other heavenly bodies. Now we are going to start with the sun. Let us know what it entails, what we mean by the term the sun. Now, the sun, it is a star that is found at the center of the solar system. It is found at the center of the solar system. And as we were looking at the theories, the nebula cloud theory, we were looking at the passing star theory. We also that the sun remained at the center. So it is at the center, and it is the one that provides the gravitational pull that puts everything in its position in the solar system. it has a force that we call the gravitational pull that puts all the celestial bodies in their own orbit. And the sun, remember, the sun, it is always at the center. Now, let us look at the characteristics of the sun. Number one, the sun is a star. The sun is a star. The sun, it is a star. That is the characteristic number one. The sun is a star. Now, what do we mean by the term star? A star, it is an heavenly body. It is a heavenly body that, that does what? That possesses its own, that has its own light, and it reflects its own light and reflects it. It is a heavenly body that possesses its own light and reflects it. So the first characteristics of the sun is it is a star. Number two, the sun is surrounded by a layer of hot gases that is called the corona. So it is surrounded by corona. It is surrounded by a layer of gases that is normally hot, and this layer of gas is called the corona. Number three, the sun is made up of two gases. Number one, so it is made up of hydrogen gas. It is made up of hydrogen gas that is 70%. Remember, the hydrogen gas is 70%. And also we have helium. Helium is 30%. Now, the sun is made up of hydrogen and helium. Hydrogen is 70%, and then the helium is also 30%. Another characteristic, the sun has got its own orbit. The sun has got its own axis. It has got its own axis, and it rotates in an anti-clockwise direction. In anti-clockwise direction. So we have a term here, an axis. What is an axis? So, using the number that has been provided on the screen, can you give me the definition of the word axis? Can you give me the definition of the word axis? We have what we call an axis. So, I can simply say that an axis is an imaginary line. It is an imaginary line that runs from North Pole to South Pole through the center of the Earth. Center of the Earth. If you look keenly at this definition, you can confuse the axis with a longitude. There is a big difference between the axis and the longitude. An axis, it is just an imaginary line that is assumed to be running from the North Pole to the South Pole. And it is passing through the center of the Earth. So that is an axis. So we have learned about, so we have looked at the sun, and we have found that it has got its own axis, and it rotates in an anti-clockwise direction. So, students, that is all about the characteristics of the sun. Remember, the sun has got its own light because it is a star. We have also said it is surrounded by gases, by hot gases that are called corona. We have also said that it has got its own axis and it rotates in an anti-clockwise direction. Now, having read about an axis, there is a term that we also call an orbit. That is one of the questions that you will meet in your exams. The difference between an axis and an orbit. So as we are learning, mark this term orbit. We will come across it and find what an orbit means. In the meantime, you can be researching about the orbit, and through the number that has been provided down your screen, you can give the definition of the term orbit. Now let's go straight to the component number 2, that we call the planets. Remember we have talked about the sun. Now we are going to talk about the planets. We are going to talk about the eight planets. To be quick, the 8 planets, we all know about the 8 planets. We all know that the planets are, some books say that we have 9 planets. However, the last planet, that was Pluto, was disqualified as one of the planets because it exhibited a different characteristics of the planet. Now, let's look at characteristics of planets. Characteristics of planets. Characteristics of planet number 1, they are spherical in shape. We all know that they are spherical in shape. They are spherical in shape. The first characteristic of planets is they are spherical in shape. Number 2, they do not have their own light. They do not have their own light. So we have, when we were talking about the sun, we said one of the characteristics of the sun is a star. And by star, we mean that they produce their own light. However, when we are talking about the planet, one of the characteristics of the planet is they do not produce their own light. Produce their own light. They do not produce their own light. However, where do they get the light from? They reflect it from the sun. Are we together? Number 3, the different planets have different gravitational pull. So they have their own force of gravity. This is gravitational pull. They have their own force of gravity. Number 4, out of all those 8 planets, it is only one planet that do what? That supports life. And we all know that is that planet Earth. So they have what? They have, so only one planet supports life. And we all know that that is planet Earth. That is planet Earth. Only out of the 8 planets, only one planet is confirmed to have to support life. Now, let us look at each of the planets, the 8 planets, with their characteristics. Together with their characteristics, I'll pass by that quick. Number one. So number 1, we have a planet that we call Mercury. Planet number 1 is Mercury. Planet number 1 is Mercury. Now, if my producer can project the picture of the solar system, you will be able to see that the first planet is Mercury. Now, it is closest planet to the sun. So we are looking characteristics in terms of how close it is to the sun. Number 2, the number of natural satellites that they have. Number 3, how long does it take to revolve around the sun? Number 1, planet Mercury, it is the first planet and also the most closest planet to the sun. It is the most closest planet to the sun. Characteristic number 2, it is the hottest planet. Why is it is hottest planet? It is because it is close to the sun. So characteristic number 3, it has no satellite. It has no satellite. What do you mean by the term satellite? These are heavenly bodies that also what? These are heavenly bodies that produce light. Are we together? Now, number 4, it takes 88 Earth days to revolve around the sun. So, takes 88 Earth days to go around the sun. So those are characteristics of Mercury. Number 2, let's look at the planet number 2 class is Venus. Venus, it is the second planet, of course, from the sun. Second planet. Again, it has no satellite. No satellite. Number 3, we can also say it is one of the brightest. It is one of the brightest. It is one of the brightest what? Planets. Let's look its characteristics in terms. So we have seen that number 1 is Mercury, number 2 is Venus. Let's go to the planet number 3. Let us go to the planet number 3. The planet number 3 is Earth, planet Earth. We have planet Earth. And one of the characteristics of planet Earth is definitely it supports life. All living things are found in planet Earth. Are we together? Number 2, we can also say it is the third planet from the sun. Third planet. It is the third planet. Number 3, we can also say that it takes 365.25 days to revolve around the sun. So it takes a year. A year is 365.25 days to go around the sun. It has one satellite that we call the moon. So it has a moon. It has one moon. Not, it has got only one moon. It has got only one moon. Unlike Mercury and Venus, at least the Earth has got one satellite. We saw that Mercury and Venus do not have any satellite. So that is all about. The Earth. Let's go to number 4. The planet number 4. Planet number 4 is definitely Mars. It is mass. So let's look at the characteristics of mass. So we can say it is fourth, that is definitely fourth planet. We can also say that it has got no satellite. Has no satellite. We can also say that it takes 687 Earth days to revolve around the sun. To revolve around the sun. That is 687 Earth days. We are finding this 687 days. We are referring to the Earth days. Are we together? Now we can also say it is smaller than the Earth. Those are minor characteristics, and we can look at planet number 5, which is Jupiter. Planet number 5 is Jupiter. So this is the largest planet. So characteristic number 1, largest planet. Characteristic number 2, it is the fifth planet. Characteristic number 3, it has got 18 satellites. Number 3, it has got 18 satellites. Okay, it has 16 satellites. It has 16 satellites. So, so Jupiter, if my producer can project that diagram of the solar system, you will find out that it is the largest planet of all. So so it takes another, so we are looking at the time, it takes 12 Earth days. It takes 12 Earth days to revolve around the sun. To revolve around the sun. Now, there is one important thing that I forgot to mention. Now, in between the Mars and the Jupiter, there exist some small celestial bodies, other heavenly bodies that are called the planetoids. So we have a planetoids that can also be called asteroids, or they are also called the minor planets. So in between the Mars and Jupiter, there exist planetoids, or the asteroids, or in other terms they are called the minor planets. Now it exists between the Mars and Jupiter. Quickly, let's look at number 6, which is Saturn. And we all know that planet Saturn has got a ring around it. It has also what we call, it has 18 satellites. It has 18 satellites. So those are the major characteristics of planet Saturn. It has a ring around it. If you can watch that diagram of the solar system, you'll be able to notice that planet Saturn has got a ring around it. It also takes 29 and a half Earth days. Earth years, not days, Earth years, to go round the sun. Takes a lot of time to go around the sun. It is 29 and a half Earth years. Let's go to the next one, which is number 7, which is Neptune. Neptune. Neptune, it is the 7th planet. So it is the 7th planet from the sun. It is the 7th planet from the sun. I mean, it is not the Neptune. It is the Uranus. I'm sorry. It is the Uranus. It is the Uranus. That is the 7th planet, Uranus. It is the 7th planet from the sun. So it has got 8 satellites. It has got 8 satellites. It has got 8 satellites. And the last one for the planets, and the last one for the planet is Neptune. Neptune. It's planet Neptune. It is the last planet, the 8th planet. The 8th planet. And also it takes 165 Earth days. Earth days to just go around the sun. And therefore, we can also say that it is, this one is the farthest planet from the sun. So we can also have a characteristic that it is the coldest planet when you compare the distance that it is taken from the sun. So we can also say that it is the coldest planet. So class, those are the 8 major planets that we know. Those are the 8 planets that we know. So before we wind up, let us look at, we have been mentioning about satellites. So let's look and know what is a satellite. So a natural satellite. So we can simply say it is a natural heavenly body that orbits around the, so it is a natural heavenly body that orbits around a planet. So natural heavenly body orbiting around a planet. It is a natural heavenly body orbiting around a planet. And we can give example. We have the moon on planet Earth. We have the moon. We have what we call the Triton. So those are just examples of what we call the natural satellites. So other heavenly bodies that we are going to see. So this is one example of other heavenly body. The second example of other heavenly bodies, we have the meteorites. We have also mentioned about the asteroids. These asteroids, we have said that they are called what? The planetoids or the minor planets. So basically, that is now the composition of the sun, of the solar system. So it is made up of the sun, the 8 planets and other heavenly bodies that we've looked at them. So the natural satellites and the meteors and the meteorites, those are other heavenly bodies. So student, today we have looked at the definition of the solar system. We have looked at the composition of the solar system. And I believe that up to now, this is something that you've grabbed. And because of time, we will reach at this particular point. When we meet next time, we'll be starting to talk about the structure of the Earth. So next time we will talk about the structure of the Earth, and we're able to know what the Earth entails, and also to go into deeper the parts of the Earth. Thank you very much. It has been a wonderful lesson, and I'm really happy to share this knowledge that I have to you. And I hope next time when we meet, we are going to finish the Earth in the solar system. Thank you so much, KU. Thank you so much, the students that are watching from home. Thank you so much, the team that has prepared all of this. I just want to thank you. And just to say a little bit of shout out to my people who are watching me, the DAM fraternity, my parents back at home, thank you so much. And of course, whoever planned this. Till next time, bye-bye.
Loving husband and father.
Nothing is too good for my daughter.
An ambitious businessman with a dark secret. A girl with a whole life in front of